Hello friends, welcome back to the third day of live art. This is Priya from Priya Arts Art Studio where I teach art for all ages. I hope everybody is staying safe during this lockdown. Let's relax a little bit and do a fun art with our family. Are you ready with these items? We need pencil, paper, eraser, ruler, oil pastels. If you don't have oil pastels, you can do the same art with crayons or color pencil, though they create a different textured art. So I have here my kids, Kavya and Ovia,
Hi.
to draw with me. I hope you all will join us today to do a simple fun art. So you're going to guess what I'm going to do today. I'm going to give you some clues. It's a real simple but fun animal. Okay, it's a reptile. So it lives in the sea and it comes back to the land to lay its eggs. Anybody, any guess? Any guess about what we are going to draw today? It lives in the sea, but it comes to the land to lay eggs. Any guesses? Do you need more clues? It travels thousands of miles, and crocodile. No, it's not a crocodile. Veena? Turtle, yeah. Lakshmi, it's turtle, that's right. We are going to do baby turtles. It's not alligator, Radhika, it's a turtle. I'm going to tell you a fun fact. It's not alligator, it's turtle. Yeah, turtle, Mitra, that's correct. So, I'm going to tell a fun fact about the turtle. Turtles travel thousands of miles, but they come back to the same place every 2 to 3 years to lay its eggs. Isn't that fantastic? So I'm going to show you one of my sea turtle painting that I did long back. So this is olive Ridley turtle, a sea turtle. So we are not going to do the exact turtle today, but we are going to do some baby turtles. Let's make some colorful baby turtles. Are you all ready to start? So take your pencil and eraser ready. We also need the ruler. I hope you all have a good view. So I'm going to start with the pastel, but you all have your pencil and eraser so that even if you make any mistakes, it's easier for you to... Are we using oil pastels? Yes, Sriniti, we are using oil pastels today. And if you don't have oil pastels, you can always take the crayons or color pencils to do the same kind of art. We are going to make 2 hatched eggs and 2 baby turtles hatched from the eggs. So let's measure it. If you don't have space this horizontally, you can turn your paper and keep it vertically so that you can make more turtles going upwards. So I'm going to do the broken eggs at the bottom, and then there are going to be tiny baby turtles going towards the top. So I'm going to measure my eggs now. So I'm going to do 10 centimeter of eggs and 10 centimeter of each turtle. If you don't have much space in your paper, you can always keep it like 8 centimeters. So since I have more space here, I'm going to make it like 10 centimeters from the bottom. So you can mark the space 8 or 10 centimeter depending on your size of the paper. So I marked here.
Wait, how do you do that?
So you can do 8 centimeters. So I marked a slanted line, the bottom and on the top and the bottom. I'm going to do a half oval for the egg. If you have trouble making the oval, you can always have a line in between. Can you tell the measurements again? Yeah, Radhika, I'm making 10 centimeters of eggs and 10 centimeters of baby turtles. If you have smaller space, you can do 8 centimeters. What I did here is to make an oval. For little kids, you can always make a line in the center. I hope you are able to see that. And you can join a curve from this side and a curve from the other side. So it's going to look like a deep U. It's not a complete egg because it hatched already. So I'm just making a deep U here. To show the broken egg, I'm going to do like a broken piece. One line right, you can see, Pranav, are you able to see now? It's the paper up and down or opposite. It's better to keep it vertically, Ishi, because the turtles are going to be traveling upwards, so you need more space on the top. Pranav or Hashini, are you able to see now? So I have that closer. Are you able to see it? Okay, now. So I have this line right there, and I'm going to make a cut here just to represent a broken egg, and another one. I'm going to join the other side right there. This is going to be our broken egg. And a piece of the broken egg is going to be on the side like that. You know, the upper part of this egg. So I'm going to draw the same measurement like this on the broken piece so that it matches the part here.
Wait a minute. I need to try again.
That's good. You can continue that. And so you see the measurements, you see the cuts here, right? We are going to match those cuts here. So it's going to be like that. The same way, and join the line right there. Like a broken piece. Okay? If you're done with this, we are going to do another piece of egg here. This is going to be just half egg. So do a curve here. So if you had 10 centimeters before, you can just do 5 centimeters of the curve for the other broken egg. And the other side of the curve is going to be little bigger than the first one. And then I'm going to make similar cuts like that to show it's broken. You can do the same thing. Okay? Hope you have the broken eggs right there. We are going to do the tiny baby turtles now. So it's the same measurement like the egg, whatever measurement you had for the egg. We're going to do the same thing for the turtles. So one of my turtle is going to walk from here probably, yeah, from here. I'm measuring the same measurements as the egg. Like I said before, for little kids, if you have trouble with making an oval, you can make a line in between. I can show you how. You can make a line here and then join and then make an oval so that it will be easier for you to do one curve right there and do the other curve right there. So it's going to be oval shaped. So you can always make a line inside just to make things easier, to draw an oval easier. So if you are done with this,
I'm not done.
okay, I'll wait for you. So that's going to be one of my turtle right there. We're going to have tiny legs for the baby turtle. And tiny little oval head. And the hands for the turtle is going to be, one is going to be right there, a small curve. And then we are joining the curve like a pointy leaf. Okay? And the other one is going to be right down there. Pointed towards this side. So one tiny baby turtle's outline is ready for us. So now we are going to do tiny details to the turtle. Watch me carefully. We are going to do six-sided shape. What is a six-sided shape called? What is a six-sided shape called?
Pentagon.
No.
Pentagon.
No.
Hexagon.
Hexagon. Yeah, that's right. Hexagon. So we need to make a hexagon in the center, in the middle of the turtle. And I'm going to make more hexagon shaped lines next to it. Yeah, Radhika, hexagon, that's right. Yay. So we are making more hexagons. Remember, hexagons have 6 sides. 1 here, 2. We are joining both together and we are doing the same at the bottom. There's going to be more hexagons. So one easy way to draw a hexagon is make 2 lines, 2 parallel lines, and make an inverted V to join the parallel lines and the letter V to join the bottom of the 2 parallel lines. So I'm making more hexagon shaped structures and we are filling up the body. Don't go too tiny. The hexagon shapes are like medium shaped. Are you good right there? So the entire shell is going to be covered with tiny hexagons. So there is a hexagon here. So whatever hexagon I have it earlier, I'm using the same line for one of the sides of my hexagon. So we are doing the same thing to cover the shell. If you don't have space at the end, you can just do how much ever space you have. You can do it till there. So the remaining, I'm just making lines to cover my shell. So I just made lines from the edges of each hexagon. Let's do you don't have to do all the hexagons, all the tiny hexagons. You can do just 4 or 5 big hexagons and then it will be easier for you. So shall we start with the next baby turtle? Okay. I can wait for you. If you don't want to do too many hexagons, that's fine. You can make a big hexagon and make it like 3 or 4 or 5 hexagons. That should be enough for the shell.
The easier way.
Or it's okay if you can do the hexagons now. We can do it when we finish that up with the oil pastel. We're going to do our next baby turtle. Measure the same thing. So I did a 10 centimeter. You can do 8 if you have a smaller paper. My next baby turtle is going to be here. Again, if you want to make an oval, you can always make a line inside like we did before for the previous turtle and make the oval easier. Yeah, Shakti, I can wait for you. Yeah, you don't have to do the details right now. We can do the details when we do pastels. Okay. So the next turtle is going to have similar legs, teeny tiny legs. And same oval head. The hands right there are going to be extended. Like that. And the other hand is going to be right there. You can have your own shape for the hands, doesn't matter. So I'm going to do bigger hexagons here so that it's easier and not too much crowded. Like bigger ones, it's also easier for you. Oops. I only have 5 here. It's okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So when you make it bigger, you don't have to worry about making tiny details. Yeah, just finish up the corners. And we are done with our baby turtle drawings.
What about other eyes?
We can start with the pastels. So first, the eggs. The eggs are going to be very light colored. For my first egg, I'm going to pick tiny bit of yellow, tiny bit of pink, white, and light green.
Can I have the pink after?
So I'm going to start with this egg right there. We are not covering the entire egg, so I'm starting with the pink. Whatever color you pick, make sure it has a lighter tone. We don't want like dark eggs. So I'm just making light strokes of pink on just the two sides of the egg. And then I'm going to do a light green right there. So when you're doing oil pastels, make sure you're giving a little pressure so that there is no white spaces, and it also blends well when you do that. So I did a little bit of light green on this side. I'm going to do a tiny light green on the other side. Make sure you're not smudging the art with your hands or fingers. We need to keep our fingers away from the paper so that it's not smudged. Can we use white? Yeah, Harshini, I'm going to use white to blend everything together. White is going to be the last one we are going to use, because for blending we always pick the dark colors first and then start blending with the lighter colors as we go towards the end. So I'm using yellow here on the top, a little bit of yellow over there and there. So we are not covering the entire shell, just on the corner. Now we are going to use white for blending everything together. So I'm going to use white on top of each color so that it kind of gets blended. Also it looks lighter on the egg. Even when you're coloring the middle, we will have a little tinge of all the colors. Make sure you're doing in the same direction with a lot of pressure so that it blends well. Make sure there's no white spaces. So when I did the egg here, so it kind of gets blended really well. I'm also using white on top of the other colors so that it gives that nice blended look. So I can show that closer. So this is how we need to blend them. Okay. Now, so I'm going to use a tiny bit of aqua. If you don't have aqua, you can use sky blue with white and it makes aqua, the lighter blue, just on one side of the broken piece. Make sure you're giving a lot of pressure while doing that. And I'm going to use a little bit of peach on the other side, and I'm blending that with aqua in the middle, and then finishing that with white. so that it gives the color of the eggshell. It's not too dark. It's kind of creates that multicolored shell for the baby turtle. So I used white and I'm blending that with the aqua and peach. It's really easy to blend with oil pastels. Do we have to use the colors that you are using? Harshini, you can choose any color, but make sure you're choosing lighter colors to blend with white instead of really dark colors. Because eggshells are not very dark. So once we are done with this, so I'm going to create shadows for the eggshell. So I'm using dark blue right there, and the shadow is going to be below the eggshell, thicker on one side Are you all able to see that? So I just created shadow for the eggshell. Don't go too dark with that. So you can pick any color for the shadow as well, but make sure it's not black, it's something else, some darker color. What color is that? Radhika, I'm using navy blue for the shadow. So I'm also going to do the shadow for this one right there, for this small broken shell. So shadows are optional. Are we going to do a background? Sarita, we are not going to do a background for this. Shadows are optional. If you don't want to do shadows, you can just leave it like that. And I'm going to use a tiny bit of brown just to give a darker effect on top of the shell here and right there. So that, you know, it kind of pops out on both sides. So this is going to be our darker region. Yeah, the shadows and lights are just optional for you. You can leave it if you want. I'm just making it more cooler with shadows around it. So we're going to do aqua. So if you don't have aqua, you can use light blue, sky blue with white together. What I'm going to do on the next eggshell is going to create like a light green on top, also the other side. Remember, the eggshells are lighter and not too dark. You can choose a different color as well. We have this color wheel here. Whatever you choose something next to each other. You can do orange and light orange, or you can even do orange, yellow. Yeah, choose something lighter from the bottom of the coloring wheel. I'm using aqua on the side. I will finally blend that with white. So it's just a tinge of both colors together. So we are ending up with white like we did the previous eggshell. So I'm kind of going on top of the previous color, whatever color you chose. So I have light green and aqua here. So I'm just going on top of it. So when white is added on top of it, it gives like a blended look. Also, I'm covering up my entire egg. So now your white will have the shade of aqua and light green, which is kind of not a blunt white, but you have these mixed colors along with white. So don't worry about having a mixed color with white now, because that's what we need it now. So I'm gonna show it a little closer so you all know. So my white is not completely white here. It's kind of mixed with green and a tinge of aqua. So I'm going to do shadows for this one as well. So with the darker green, I'm going to darken one side of my egg with a really, really dark green, and go a little thicker on one side.
No.
Okay. Can we do an outline? Harshini, if you're doing an outline, one side is going to be darker and the other side is going to be lighter, because you need to show the variation of lights and shadows. Instead of doing a complete outline, you can make the other side very lighter and one side a little thicker than the other one. Instead of giving a complete, overall complete same kind of outline, you can do this. This creates the variation for the shadows and light. But if you don't want to completely do the outline, that's fine too. You don't want to do that. It's optional. So I'm kind of giving a darker shadow for some of the areas of the eggshell. Topping it with a tinge of brown. just to show the shades. Okay? Now we are done with the eggshells. We can go to the baby turtle. You can pick any color for your baby turtle, but make sure you're choosing one light color and one dark color of the same shade. You can choose any from this coloring wheel. Make sure you're doing something one lighter or darker, any combination of one lighter or darker. So I'm gonna choose light green and dark green for the first turtle. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to choose a dark green on one side of my turtle. So it's okay if your designs are gone. You can redo the designs. I'm coloring my turtle with, make sure you're doing top to bottom strokes so that it kind of blends with the other side. So one side is darker and when I make sure there are no white spaces and don't smudge it with your fingers and hands. I'm giving a lot of pressure now. Short strokes with lot of pressure. Can we give a background? Harshini, yeah. You can give a background. Make sure you're not smudging your tiny animals here. You can give a background at the end. So I'm going to blend this color with the light green on the other side. Short strokes with a lot of pressure. Make sure the white spaces are covered. When you're blending, you need to go on top of the darker color. So one layer top of the background, the dark color, so that they are blended. If you did the top to bottom direction, do the same way. Top to bottom direction. Hold the pastel away from the paper like you're holding the knife and not smudging it. So this is how it should look. Whatever color you picked, one darker color and one lighter color. And my turtle's legs are going to be, can we color the hexagon a different color? Yeah, Harshini, we are going to do the hexagons with a darker color, darker than both the colors. You can choose, if you chose green, you can do dark blue, or if you chose any other color, just take the darker version. Okay, so I picked green, so I'm just using a really dark green to make the hexagons.
What should I do?
What color did you pick?
Pink and red.
You can do brown. If you picked red and pink, you can do the hexagons with brown so that it kind of stands out and you're able to see.
What do I do?
What color? Green. So you can use the same color as mine.
What color is that?
That is a really, really dark green.
And
Yeah, I'll give you.
you have to color them in.
So just make sure your hexagons are visible well. You can always do a darker brown. When you're doing it. So this is how it should look with all the hexagons in it. Just make sure they are visible. But if you choose black, you please do the black at the end because you don't want to mess up your painting.
Can I have the dark green?
What color are you using for the hexagon? I'm using a really dark green Vina. You can do brown if you want. So I'm going to color my legs, head and the hands. So I choose dark navy blue. When you're doing the coloring, just color one portion of the
What should I do?
parts.
What should I do?
You can do the same color too. So one part of that. Yeah, let me finish that. And I'm mixing white to blend them. So if you do that, you can do a variation in the color.
Actually, I don't want that. I want it.
My hexagons are visible. That's good, Radhika. So you see there's one of the leg. It's not completely blue and it's not completely white. So I just want to show that variation here. So I did half of the dark blue, navy blue, and half white. Yeah. So that you have two mixed colors. And it's not just a boring leg for the turtle. I'm going to do the same thing for the head. One side is going to be dark. The hands are going to be the same. I'm just coloring the top portion really dark. I'm leaving the remaining half for blending it with white. Use a lot of pressure when you're doing it. That's when it gets blended. You don't want thin stripes like you're doing with the pencil. What color do you use if you have light blue and dark blue? You can always use the dark brown Vina. Or for the legs, you can use red and orange probably, just to show the variation, or yellow and orange should be good for the parts. So if you see here, I'm blending it really well using the white. So now it kind of creates that blended effect. Instead of just one color, we mixed two colors. White always makes any color lighter. So that's what I'm doing right now. With with navy blue and white. When you add white, it automatically created that light navy blue
What do you have to do with
shade.
the light blue? What do you do?
You need darker blue. You need darker blue and lighter blue. Okay? You have a darker blue.
Oh, that's not dark.
So I'm going to do
Which one?
a shadow. Yeah, that's the darker blue.
Did I use this one?
No, use darker blue and lighter blue.
Okay. Wait, what did you?
So I'm giving shadow on one side, just one side,
Color
like an
did-
outline
What color did
with the darker color you used for the legs and head. I'm using the same dark color just on one side of the shell. Okay? You can do probably a peach color on the other side, just to, you know, show the shades. You can always skip the shadows and shades I'm doing. It's optional. But if you want to challenge yourself, go ahead and do the shades for the turtle. So this is the peachy color I'm using on the other side. So now you have the really nice baby turtle. Let's do the eyes at the last because it's going to be black, and let's leave the black for the last. And I'm going to do the next baby turtle with red and pink. We are using the same technique. I'm coloring one side with red. Make sure it's from top to bottom direction so that it blends on the other side. Top to bottom, short strokes. And make sure you're not smudging it with the hands. Just half of the turtle. I'm covering the white spaces really carefully. When you're doing the edges, be very careful that you're not going outside the line. So go really slow when you're doing near the outlines. So when you give a lot of pressure, it's self-blending. I don't have to use any tissue paper to blend them. I'm just using a lot of pressure so that it blends on its own. When I'm doing the lighter color, I'm going on top of the dark color so that it blends in the middle. You may want to do the same thing if you have chosen a different color too. Do the same thing. You can do any dark color combined with the related light color. So be very careful that you're covering all the white spaces here. And now it's all blended. So if you have magenta, you can do that, or if you have dark brown, you can do the same for the hexagons. So I'm making my hexagons.
Try to here. Where's the dark green? Try to here. Go, where's the dark green?
Hexagon.
Here.
You can use brown. So don't worry if your designs are gone. We can still do this. I'm making the hexagons now with a really dark color. of hexagons. If you don't want to make small hexagons, you can make it bigger and just finish them up. Okay. Hexagons are done now. I'm using the same dark color to do the shadow on one side. This is optional. If you don't want, you can skip the shadow. If you want to challenge yourself, you can go ahead and do the darker shadow on one side of the baby turtle. So I just did that. On one side. The other side is going to be peach for the lighter side. Okay, we are done with the shell now. Do we have to outline the hexagons? Yeah, Harshini, we are outlining the hexagons with a darker color. So I chose a magenta for the red and pink background. So when you do the outlines, that's when it kind of shows up. The hexagons will show up. Now for the head and legs. So I want to do light and dark green. The same way we did for the other legs. I'm only going to use dark green on one side and blend that with the white. So I'm just making dark green on one side for all the parts, and when we blend that with white, it automatically creates a lighter version. So you can choose any dark color too. So I'm not covering that with just a single color. Now for the white. So if you have any other color in your white, make sure you wipe that off with the tissue paper. And I'm blending them together. Ta-da! I'm doing the same thing for all the parts. Just make sure you're going on top of the darker color you chose. I'm doing the same thing with all the parts of the baby turtle. Okay. I'm doing the same thing with white for the rest of the areas. For the head, so when we are mixing white, it automatically creates that lighter color, whatever color you chose. Okay. Now we are done with the turtles. What is missing here are the eyes. So we are using black for this. Be very careful when using black. We don't want to make any mistakes with black. The eyes are going to be on the side. Teeny tiny dot on one side like that, and on the other side. Be very careful when you're doing the eyes. You don't want to do it really big. Teeny tiny dot. I can show that closer. So here are the eyes. So we're going to do the same thing for the other baby turtle. On this side, on the other side. Be very careful, you don't want to make a big round. Teeny tiny eyes. You can make footprints if you want around the turtle. So I'm making blue footprints here, right there, over here, near the arms, near the head, and one for the other baby turtle, right there. So if you want, you can make some more marks, some more footprints, right there. Okay, now we are done with the tiny baby turtles. If you need more shadows for the egg, we can use black, but be very careful when you are using black. I'm going to do darker shadow at the bottom of the eggshell, a little bit darker here. Yeah, you can always skip the shadows if you want like a more cool effect. You can add more shadows to the eggshell right there. And make it a little more darker. Be very careful if you're using black. So I'm just highlighting the shadow areas for the eggs. I'm doing the same thing with the other egg. Just to highlight a darker side for the egg. Okay. Yeah, be very careful. That's why we are using black at the very last. You can go ahead and do your artistic signature. And we are done with our baby turtles. They are coming out of these tiny eggshells. Yay! Let's see what Kavya and Ovia have. Woohoo! That's nice. Great job, girls. Are you going to post a pic of it? Yes, Srinidhi, I will be posting a pic after we are done with the live show. I hope you all enjoyed it. I want to see all your finished pictures. Please post it in the comments after you're done with your pictures. I would love to see all your turtles, baby turtles. I love baby turtles. I want to see all your different shaded, different colored turtles. I hope you all will post it in the comments after you are done. Hope you enjoyed it this time. Yeah, you're welcome, Priya. See you next Monday at 4 p.m. EST. See you all. Bye-bye.